Give me a countdown.
Okay. You're taking us in, Guy?
Oh, another match point.
Incredible third set here.
They changed their strategy a little bit and they fought their way back in.
There it is. Game, set, and match.
Hello and welcome to the 2024-25 APTA Tour. We're live from the Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey, bringing you the Short Hills Invitational with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsors, Volley and Corient. Tournament support has been provided by the following local sponsors: JP Morgan Private Bank, Maplecrest Ford Lincoln of Union, Master Athletics, Bureau Harrison and Nelson, New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association, Club Pilates, Paper Ribbon and Wrap, Center Court Padel, Suzanne Emmerich of Keller Williams Premier Properties, T-Spa, and the New Jersey Flex League. I am Guy Moore, along with Brad Easterbrook, bringing you the men's finals of the Short Hills Invitational between Johan Randt and his partner Stephen Mitchell, playing against Graham McNerney and Adam Morgan. Brad, welcome to the booth. I don't even know what to tell you about the Guinness Book of World Records match you just called. So just help me help you. How about that?
Help you, my friend. Yeah, we're looking forward to a great final here. You know, let's do a quick rundown just of our players on the court. And, you know, top left of your screen in the white hat, Adam Morgan, and his partner to the right in the blue kind of jacket with the headband on is Graham McNerney. And as we go around the clock, we got Johan Randt in the blue cap on the bottom right of your screen, and on the bottom left of your screen is Stephen Mitchell. So we have our number 3 against our number 4 seeds. And the real question in this match is all the rest time for Randt and Mitchell, who had an easy run through, and I believe you called that semifinal, and the barn burner 5-hour match that Adam Morgan and Graham McNerney just played, you know, and it was basically a little more than an hour ago. They're right up and right back out. They've had a quick shower, time to collect themselves and get back into this. So, you know, it's a question of whether that's going to take a toll or not. We should also mention, of course, it's 2 out of 3 sets. Then we have Mike Yahimski in the chair. So looking forward to a great match.
I tell you what, Brad, you know, when you talk about, and all kidding aside, I mean, it probably is the longest paddle match ever, right? It has to be.
I mean, it's got to be up there for sure.
Certainly in one of the biggest tournaments of the year, if not always, at the Short Hills Club. And I will say, looking at the draw, both on the men's and women's side, I mean, this is really what we're going to see in 2 or 3 weeks in Philly at the Philly Cricket Club, the national championships. And we could see these same 2 teams in the finals. I mean, it's easy to say that, right?
Oh, without a doubt, there's no question that you'd have to put McNerney. We'll let Mike Yahimski introduce the players.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2025 Short Hills Invitational. This is the men's final round match. We'll play best 2 out of 3 sets with tie breaks. Introducing the players to my right. Playing in the deuce court from Wayland, Massachusetts, Johan Randt. His partner on the ad side from Natick, Massachusetts, Stephen Mitchell. Their opponents to my left, playing in the ad court from Chicago, Illinois, Graham McNerney. His partner on the deuce side from Lake Bluff, Illinois, Adam Morgan. McNerney Morgan won the spin and they will receive.
Well, all right, so there you have it. Mike Yahimski announcing the players. And, yeah, that could be a record for sure. The match was basically about 5 hours. I believe I was talking off air with our producers, and they said the actual total runtime of that video clip is 5 hours and 32 minutes. I think that also includes some of the, the ads in between the second and third set. There was probably a 10 to 15 minute break in there, a 10-minute break. But, that match was just incredible in its swings. And you got two teams which are defensively minded. Now, we know Randt and Mitchell are one of the best fast-playing teams of all time. And they don't want to stay out here forever. But I can't imagine, I don't know what's left in the tank for McNerney and Morgan. Whatever it is, they're fighting for a lot here. If McNerney wins this match, it's worth $10,000 to him. He's going to come in first place in the APTA Cup standings. So we'll see here what kind of energy level we got here. Stephen Mitchell starting us off. And Adam Morgan hitting that first drive, return of serve, just howitzering it in there.
And Brad, I mean, you and Mike called a great match, for 5.5 hours. And, I will just say McNerney and Morgan are built for matches like that. Not only physically, but mentally. They are built for that. They've done it the entire season.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. And, looking at this match, there's some differences there, and we'll get back to you. So you're about to make a point there. I think one of the big things is going to be, Stephen Mitchell's return. It's sort of an engine that sort of drives the Durant-Mitchell, team. Johan's return, Johan Durant, is pretty automatic. Mitchell's been a little spotty. They're not playing quite, that sort of completely dominant level. It's great to see him back here in the final. How'd they look in the semi, actually?
I'll tell you what, it was Durant being Durant. I'm glad you asked me that question. I'll throw a bunch of different things at you, Brad, but what Durant did more than anything is control the middle of the court from the baseline, blitzing and moving with his range. And it was interesting, too, because you'll see when they are in the backcourt how quickly Durant shifts over and switches over to the backhand side of the court. And he has more range with his forehand volley to blitz and cover almost the entire court. And as you know, it was a quick match in the other semis. But I tell you what, I mean, I think we both agree that Durant's probably the best paddle player of our era, if not the best ever. And he was able to do exactly what he wanted to do in that match against Nunez and Powers.
Now, Guy, was he able to do it because he was Durant, or did they also feed into that with their strategy? Like, did they challenge him all the time, play faster, go into it? Because you don't expect McNerney and Morgan to sort of feed into any of that stuff.
So, really, really good question, but I think Durant basically dictated the match by his forward movement. So, I mean, when someone's moving forward like he did in the semis, it's going to speed everything up. You have no choice. So, whether McNerney and Morgan want to play slow or not, when Durant's coming forward, they have no choice.
Well, it certainly will initiate exchanges, but you can start to bail. Like, you don't have to take it, and you don't have to always initiate the exchange. Now, that said, that's going to be one of the matchups we're looking for today because, you're absolutely right. I would not, if anybody wants to say Johan Durant is the greatest player of all time, I would not argue the case. But, McNerney is one of the best blitzers and volley shutdown guys in the entire game right now. So it's going to be an interesting matchup to see and he also loves going forward. He also loves mixing it up at the net. And he also is very good at reading it. So that's got to come into play at some point in time in this match.
And I will say this, Brad, I agree with you. I think you're probably, and we haven't talked about this, but you're probably talking about, because we always preach from a teaching aspect, backhand volleys, you're probably talking about the two best forehand volleys in the game with McNerney and Durant.
Oh, certainly.
Hands down.
Certainly, yeah.
Hands down. And those little things make such a big difference. And not only that, Nunez and Powers played a flawless match against Tyler Frazier and Eric West the evening before. And Nunez and Powers reminded us all why they're the national champions in that match. I mean, just amazing.
That's great to hear. It's got to bode well for them, hopefully going into nationals.
Yeah, Randt and Mitchell just came out with a great game plan, and
15-30.
by the way, Brad, what they did so well in that match in the semis is they returned the ball. I mean, as well as any team could return the ball, Randt and Mitchell.
Quick backcourt switch there from, McNerney and Morgan, and you see it there, and it's a good call. When that happens, it just changes where you have to start aiming.
And Brad, already you can see where look where Durant's standing. He's standing between the baseline and the service line. It's just constant pressure. And you'll see even here when McNerney serves to Randt, probably how quick they switch out.
Game, Durant Mitchell. They lead 2-0, first set.
All right, great start here for Durant Mitchell, the kind of pace that they're looking for. And like we talked about, you cannot, stress it enough. It's a 5-hour match they're coming off of. And, Guy, when you were in your playing days, you were no stranger to playing long matches. You and sort of Drew Broderick almost invented the serve and stay back. You certainly popularized it for the new wave of players, where you guys would decide, we're not going to come in and challenge that first volley. We're not going to get beat by it, and we'll play long points from the back. So you are no stranger to playing long matches. But 5 hours and 1 hour break in between, it's got to mean something. It's got to affect you some way.
Well, you know what's interesting too, Brad? It probably means something on both sides because Durant and Mitchell have been sitting for that long.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I would rather be sitting than playing that long, but I tell you what, McNerney and Morgan are so disciplined that they're still
15-all.
And McNerney, you could see this cutter overhead. And that's I did not watch the entire third set just because I'd watched 4 hours of your match already. But
you took a little time off, give yourself a little me time.
Yeah, I had to. But McNerney, when he takes over the net and dictates the overhead scheme, that's where Morgan and McNerney are just so good. And not only that, we'll see for Morgan when he volleys. Obviously on the baseline now, but his stance is so wide and his base is so good. He just makes huge volleys at the biggest points of the match. You saw it in the 5.5 hours he called about probably 500 times.
Yeah, he did. He's not like one of these. That's kind of a little oopsie half volley there.
Morgan. Durant Mitchell lead 2-1, first set.
All right, so McNerney Morgan on the board now. Yeah, he made some amazing volleys, and he's not that quiet type volleyer. He does move a bit, but his paddle stays steady, and he's fearless. Adam Morgan's fearless.
Well, he's just. I think the one word that describes McNerney and Morgan, and especially Morgan, is just discipline. Starts with a D, ends with an E. The guy is just disciplined.
Yep.
He doesn't go away. He's not going to give you freebies. He is just, and that's what this match is going to come down to. Is I think even as long as a match as McNerney and Morgan played, who's going to get the most freebies? That's it. And I think that's a smart play early from Morgan, staying back, because Durant and Mitchell's return of serve have been the best I've seen.
Love 15.
Yeah, it's pretty automatic, and it's down at your feet. And even if you can make the volley, the pressure of the blitz behind it is part of it, right? He's making you hit up to him. And if you don't, it's a perfect touch volley back. So a lot of players have opted for just staying back, taking it out of the game. And you see him doing it again. And it's smart because you don't lose the point right from the outset. The only negative, now you got to play from the backcourt. And at times, we've seen them be completely dominant with their ability to hit cut overheads and finish and put extra kind of pressure. on the team back there. It hasn't been as much of that as there has been in the past this year, but we'll see if that plays a factor, because if you spend the whole time on the baseline, if they're able to start dictating with the overheads, that's going to be something to watch for in this match. But if the other team defends well, there's a shot clock sometimes for these guys. So you're inviting some transition there, and a perfect pace ball. I think it topped the net there, which is why it came out a little funny.
And I'll tell you what, even though Durant and Mitchell lost that point, I think it's cool that Durant is making a statement early that I have this. Actually, everyone in the world knows he has that shot. But even though they lost that point, a little fortunate for Morgan catching up with it. But still, when there's a short overhead, Morgan has to lean back and only want to defend and not be able to look for offense. So that changes the tactics and strategy as well.
Yeah, I think he might bring that out even more. It'd also be to just sort of test their ability to chase, after a 5-hour match. Let's see, how fast are they moving, And speeding it up, it allows him to control the tempo like you were, sort of alluding to the whole time.
And you'll see here, you see Mitchell inside the baseline.
Ooh. It's that one.
Rare miss. Yeah, rare miss by Durant. But they both are looking to blitz behind the returns. And then what happened in the semis, Brad, is very early on, Durant and Mitchell would switch in the backcourt just like you're seeing now. And that allows Durant to blitz from that ad side where he has range with his forehand volley when he does come in. Because, I think we would both agree, just like this right there, boom, that he probably has the best range in all of paddle. He's just a big, long guy.
Yeah, back in the day, oftentimes people they call it the go-go jagged arm. You take one step to the side and reach out with his arm, and it's like he's got 80% of the court covered with one single move.
Yeah, and you just saw that. How quick is he to the net? It's just, he's on top of the net. And
Deuce.
And Brad, you could see there too, he's already early on in this match hitting more hard rollers to the deuce side, which, tell us about that. Tell us, Brad, how difficult that is to defend from the deuce side opposed to the backhand side.
Yeah, the biggest difference is, he's coming into you with that body, and he's making you move out. And when he's pushing it up that side wire like that, to me, it's similar defense-wise, but when it's coming into that forehand corner and he's making you move away and then you have to chase up the line, it does everything he wants, right? Which is he's making you move, he's pulling you out of position. Sometimes he'll give up a drive, but either way, it invites either transition or it invites an attacking volley behind you on the next shot. And it just makes it so tough. And even if you know it's coming, he actually has the ability to hold it for a second and occasionally just hit it slower, right? And sometimes he can slap it right at you. I do think him bringing out the hard overhead's a great idea for him today.
Yeah, I agree. And we talked about this earlier as well. Temperature-wise, we don't have to worry about, or he doesn't have to worry about, like there's a hold. Who knows if he's going to hit that 100 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour, right? He shows you the same thing, just like you just mentioned. But the fact of the matter is, when you see it a couple times, your whole mindset on a short lob is, I don't want to get hit. I want to get out of the way. And that right there releases anything in your mind, tactical-wise, because your first thought is, I do need to get out of the way. Like there. You never know what he's going to do with that. Here. And this is the exact match that McNerney and Morgan want, or I should say point. They want to slow it down and just grind. These guys will play another 5-hour match, by the way, Brad.
They will.
And then you and I are going to be watching the Super Bowl on our phones together calling this match.
It's very possible because you're right. As much as they expended all that and all that mental energy, it's a huge match for these guys. And they know that's just a way they're going to have to play it. And you can see it right now. They're committed to it. And they're going to work on the shot clock. The more this happens, though, the more I expect we're going to see like that hard overhead come out. I think because there's only so many of the same ball they're going to play. Durant and Mitchell, I don't imagine they're going to let them dictate the tempo the whole time. They're going to find a way to try to control it.
And by the way, Adam Morgan spots his drive. He strikes his drive so well. It's all with intent and placement. Agree?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. He's got one of the, I think that was right on the line. Yep, called in. Great shot from Adam Morgan.
Advantage McNerney Morgan.
And Morgan is one of those players, Brad, that, I mean, he's always been really, really great, but I just think the partnership of McNerney and Morgan they're just, I don't need to state the obvious, but they are just really, really, really good together. They complement each other so well.
No, they really do. And at one point, and it seems like Morgan's almost raised his level since he's come up in here. He's so much better defensively. He's always had the hammer drive. And they're in sync together. They're playing the exact thing. And his ability to control the net, McNerney's, they're just playing at a really high level. Without a doubt, one of the top two teams in the country so far this year in terms of results.
Yeah, and going back to this tournament, would you say what we're going to see in Philly in a few weeks looks any different from this draw? Nothing,
no,
right?
It's exactly it. It's really just going to come down to sort of like draw variance, right?
There
now,
it is.
Right, Eric West sitting at number 5. This time they got against Nunez Powers. Who gets them? That's a tough number 5 team, where those things come in the draw. But the rest of it, it's all locked in.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time in a long time on the men's side of the tour that there are legitimately 5 or 6 teams, assuming everyone's healthy, they could actually, based on what you just said, the draw, could win the tournament. It's beyond. The depth is just so good. And you see, too, Brad, at this level, how well everyone covers for each other. On both sides of the court.
Oh, sudden little it's like it wasn't a back spinner, but he looked like he was going to knife it through the court. And at the last moment, he cuts under it. Completely wrong foots McNerney there. Great shot. It looked long. Yep. Break point here for
advantage Durant
and Mitchell.
So, Brad, question for you. Early on in this match, 2-1, obviously.
Great play.
And that's just going to probably
they lead 3-1 first set.
Probably solidify what I was about to ask you. Do you think Durant is the difference maker in this match?
Well, I think plays like that, see, that's complementary play. I think the two difference makers are going to be Mitchell's return, and just Durant's blitzing forward for sure. And whether or not, they can actually affect the change. I think the hard overhead, but certainly Durant is always a difference maker in any match that he's playing, and his ability to go from, back in the quarter to just doing that, right? Cut finish with sudden ease is going to be absolutely what's going to make a difference here.
And I'll tell you what, from calling the semifinals, didn't see a lot of even cut overheads from Durant. That's probably the first one I've seen today. We all know he has it, but I feel like, and I said it before a few hours ago calling the match, I feel like it's vintage Durant. He's not that he didn't ever play the way he's playing right now, but I think when you're as good as he is and you can dictate and control a match and do what you do well, look at him moving forward right there. It's just constant pressure, Brad. and the variety. I mean, that spin overhead.
Yeah, the variety is such a key. You know, a lot of these players at the top level, and Randt certainly right there at the top. What a shot. Oh, good get. And he transitions it into a blitz. But his ability, he also, like we talked about, he can hold his paddle up and then he can cut it to the side. He can push it long through the court. He can go into the semi-western grip for a roller, but then he could hit it hard. He could hit it soft. He could slam it at you with a hard overhead to the body. It's just those different looks. They're making him try to work and chase. They're working the legs here, pulling him out of position.
Well, and who would be so wrong? I mean, you and I both know the showers at Short Hills are amazing. So Durant and Mitchell probably took 2 or 3 in between this break.
They had plenty of time, that's for sure. Their match was probably an hour at most.
30-15.
You know, and I think when that match was over, we were at like 4-3 in the first set.
I actually, at most, you might have been at 3-2, to be honest with you, because
maybe.
You know. So then the question is, what do McNerney and Morgan do? Forget about the fact that they just played a 5.5-hour match. But
right.
Let's just say they're 100% fresh. What strategy do they come into this match with? Saying, okay, Mitchell and Durant, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think they still have to play the game and build it the way they want to, meaning they do need to slow it down a little, but they're just going to have to find. My concern for them is where are they going to win if Durant and Mitchell don't miss overheads. Like if they don't get it to where the shot clock where Durant and Mitchell start to overplay an overhead and miss it, where are they going to win points from the backcourt? Right? Is it going to be Adam Morgan hitting the drive?
20-15.
But so far we've seen them close off every volley. Or is it going to be the drive with the blitz combination? Right. So that is my concern in the match. I think they're playing the points the right way. I'm not sure how you see it right now, but they haven't been able to affect any change against these guys at this moment.
So my question for you too is, and I want to have a good dialogue about it, is, you know, Durant and Mitchell, when they've been so successful, they play at this tempo. I mean, this is 100% their tempo. This is 100% not Morgan and McNerney's tempo. It isn't.
Right, so you're saying they need to be able to slow it down, right? Just out, good eye there. And 4-1 now for Durant and Mitchell. And we'll get back to that point once we talk about volley. And did you know that volley has thrown 5 million balls to players working on their game? Don't get left behind. Get your reps in with volley. Whether it's a day or night, you're in control of your training. Volley offers world-class training on demand, helping you sharpen your skills and level up your game whenever it fits your schedule. Ready to join the movement? Start training smarter with volley today. Yeah, so what you're saying essentially is they need to find like longer points, slower points. This tempo is moving too fast, and the games are moving too fast. It's 4-1. We are basically about, 20 minutes into this? Bruce and Mark, what do we got? 20, 25 minutes into the match? 20 minutes? That's including the warm-up, right? And it's moving too fast. They're getting too many points on the return and blitz. They got to take that away. Like right there, they can't lose in these first 3 points. And they just need to stay in longer in the back. Mark Bliss was kind enough to, he popped the paper down. He said the longest point so far in terms of total hits has been 128 balls in this point.
15 all.
In their last match, they were routinely playing 500 ball points, you know, and,
right.
And the longest point after that 128, ball point that they've played in this one match here has been 40 balls. They need to get that number up, whatever that is, to get that tempo to the place you want it to be.
30,
there they are
15.
Trying to take away that first point lost off the return of serve. Smart move. Now, that time he missed the return, but the next time when he makes it, they got to get to the point where, can we get this thing up to, another balls? Can the tempo be slow enough?
And Brad, I will tell you from watching the previous match and just what's happened. I mean, we got to remember, too, Mitchell and Durant didn't even play the first half of the season. So they're in the finals of the biggest tournament of the year leading up to Nationals. I mean, this draw is even stronger than Chicago was. And one of the reasons, because Mitchell and Durant, that's a crazy good overhead.
40-15.
Let's see that again.
Yeah, he hit two or three of those in his semifinal match. He's got such variety.
And I will say that, and I heard you and Mike Raleigh calling the last match. McNerney has to control more of the overheads at the net just because of his variety. Adam Morgan's overhead is fantastic, but McNerney's overhead puts more pressure on the baseline team.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, Adam Morgan can snap a roller in there and make you miss here and there, but primarily his roller is designed so that people don't attack it. McNerney creates a lot of movement and chaos in the backcourt, and he can actually put you on a string a little bit. That's a good little sky hook to the side wire there. Moving up the wire.
Looked like Jimmy Connor's righty.
Yeah, he definitely did it. He had it in there. And he has that. He uses that quite a bit. And it's actually a good play for a guy like, McNerney's 6'4", Adam Morgan is not, which means he's got to reach up. It's a lot easier for McNerney to take one step, get behind the ball. Morgan's got to be a little, ooh, gets him backing off, but nice cross-court forehand there from Morgan.
And we were talking earlier too, Brad, that they start. Randt is returning from the deuce side because obviously he likes his return from there.
McNerney Morgan, Durant Mitchell lead 4-2 first set.
I should be getting a new ball. Yeah.
And Mitchell loves his return from the backhand, but they routinely switch in the backcourt. And I think it's not only because of the return, because Durant likes to close and move forward and blitz from that side of the court because of his range with his forehand volley. You'll see it plenty of times here.
Oh yeah.
All right, bigger game for Durant Mitchell or Morgan McNerney here.
I think it's all for Morgan McNerney in the sense that I think they need to stay close. I think Durant and Mitchell, if they become complete front runners in this, that'll make it a hard comeback for them. Ooh.
Wow. What was that?
It was like an oopsie. A little
low.
miscommunication. They were lucky to come up with it. You see Mitchell's still laughing about it. He's like,
yeah. Who Brad, who hit that volley? You or me?
Yeah, exactly. Either way, 15 love. That's a great ball there. Nice shot. Wisely left there from Mitchell. He's not in position to play it. Oh, he's carving that down and in.
15 all.
Heavy, hard, and down. Just a beautiful cut. Put that one in the
And Brad,
sideboard.
I don't know when we'll see it, but two shots we'll probably see. You will see if McNerney Morgan go hard into Durant's side back on the ad side, he will light them up with the backhand. He has an unbelievable flick backhand that he could hold and go down the line or cross court.
You talking about McNerney or you talking about Mitchell? I'm sorry.
I'm talking about Durant.
Durant, oh, the hard flick backhand, yeah.
Yeah, when they switch out in the backcourt. I mean, he will hold that and he will use it at the right time in the match to make you pay for going there into the backside. I mean, there's not a lot of players that have an unbelievable one-handed backhand. Durant uses it selectively, but especially off the backside. He used it twice in the match before, and both of those times were very successful.
30 all.
And if you take McNerney over there, Brad, he doesn't drive that as much as he tips it, but he tips it down the line to create movement back to Morgan.
Yeah, we're going to see that, more and more. But like you said, one of the things I think that was important in what you said is that he's taking it out at certain moments around the post, and it was way in, and Mitchell had a little confused. He wasn't sure if it was going in, but it was well in. But look at this. He goes for the sharp angle, but it doesn't stay low enough. So he's trying to put pressure on, but he gets it before the wire, and that gives him a power shot down the line. So break point here.
And Adam Morgan completely did that with intent, going down the line to Randt to move the ball back to McNerney, where he could do exactly what he did to Mitchell. I think it's easy too, Brad, for all of us to say, hey, you want to move the ball cross court, lob down the line. But another way is to hit like a chip drive, whatnot, a spot drive, and that volley tends to go cross court as well. So it creates movement and confusion.
That's good ball.
There.
Oh, good stretch there
Yep.
from McNerney. All right, he's controlling this. He's controlling, but they're defending now. They're surviving.
And you see how Durant speeds it up and then immediately just slows it down and everything goes back to neutral.
Oh, great eye. Just a little long.
Deuce.
Constant pressure finally gets to him. Break point eliminated. That's long. Yeah.
Sure is.
He stayed back on
McNerney
purpose to
Morgan.
get the screen drive. He gets it, just overcooks it a little bit. That's too good. McNerney,
Wow.
big forehand.
Game, McNerney Morgan. Durant Mitchell lead 4-3, first set.
And I will say, too, Brad, that McNerney's forehand, even in the 10-hour match he called just a moment ago, got better and better as the match progressed. He just got more and more confidence, creating his own pace. I mean, again, his range is huge, McNerney.
It's really the only ingredient, and it was integral in their comeback and their ability to take that second and third set. He won the most points I've ever seen him win with his forehand, in those last two sets, and he started actually hitting it with confidence and accelerating on it. In the past, he'd hit one, and then he'd miss it, and then as soon as he did, he'd go back into sort of just pushing the forehand. He committed to hitting it there, and it really did make a huge difference for him.
Yeah, I mean, McNerney with his forehand, it's not one of those shots where he, wow, what a great ball. Morgan is just so smart with where he places the ball. He just sees the court so well. I mean, you know what it is with Morgan, Brad? There's just no indecision ever. I mean, when's the last time that you and I have called a match and said, hey, Adam Morgan was indecisive on what he was doing? He just doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's very rare, and he saw that so well. And you make a great point because he also is so economical with what he does. He gets his racket back, very quickly. It's just sort of set out in front of him. It's a very flat stroke. So his preparation is so early, he has a little bit of time to kind of survey the situation. Some people are still taking a bigger swing, and he's able to make quick adjustments on the fly, and he spotted that drive absolutely perfectly down the line for a winner.
Yeah, quickly. So Brad, again, I mean,
Let it go.
All right, 2 let it goes, and McNerney thinks differently.
and I think that ball was going to land in. Do you?
I do as well. Yep. I think McNerney was right.
But, again, going back to all kidding aside, probably the longest match in tournament, certainly APTA Tour history, the match you just called, 5.5 hours. I mean, do you see any residual effects with McNerney and Morgan? I mean, they're just that good.
Yeah, they are that strong. Yeah, no, they seem to be doing great. I thought in the beginning it was a slightly flat start, but now it's sort of taking its shape, and they're getting smarter as it goes on, too. They're taking away some of those first ball, return a serve, blitz, winning points for Durant Mitchell. So they're taking those out of the equation. And the pace is starting to slow down enough to where they want. And then when they're getting up into the net, they're actually starting to dictate some points, getting them to move there. Quick strike from Durant. Not able to find its target.
And this is where, as much as Durant and Mitchell like to play fast, that it could hurt them just like that. Because then there could be a bunch of errors in a row. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
Oh, no question. There have been times where, when their level was at its highest, it was so strong that it's almost like how you approach the match was, that's long. A quick game there for McNerney Morgan.
Just like that.
Right, where you would count on, you would think, okay, let's just hang in here and stay as close as we can, and we'll get to that point where Durant and Mitchell make 3-4 errors. Now let's capitalize, right? And you would sort of take that one moment to capitalize, and a lot of the time you were just trying to survive because they were putting so much pressure on you, either from the backcourt with their drives and blitzes, or either from the net with, cuts and rollers. And you would hang in there till you got that moment where they pressed too much or they got too creative, and they're like, okay, this is our moment. Let's make a run, 3-4 games. And you could get them. They had walkabout moments for sure. Oh, sharp chip.
And that's that McNerney backhand I was talking about. I mean, he just is so good at stepping over there and chipping it hard down the line.
Oh.
I mean, really? Wow.
That was ridiculous. Right out in front. Look at that placement.
Watch this. And by the way, nobody did anything wrong at this point.
Nope.
I mean, if you get beat like that, then so be it.
Yeah, no question. That was an amazing ball. And, Mitchell took a risk. He executed the shot perfectly. But it's not a no-risk shot. That was not easy to make. Quick cross-court little short flick there, and then he follows it up with a shot right into the crease. So great start here after McNerney and Morgan make a run down from, they were down 4-1, I believe. All right, or they're certainly 4-2.
I think you're right. It was 4-1. We'll just call it that.
Yeah. Oh, he's afraid of the blitz, and he overplays the volley wide.
And that's what I was mentioning earlier, Brad, why I think Durant likes to be on that side. You see how he's edging right to the middle with his range, with his forehand? I mean,
Durant Mitchell, they lead 5-4, first set.
Yeah, there's just not much better range than Durant has, leaning to his forehand side. I just don't see it.
No, his range has always been, it's a different level of pressure that he's able to put on you. Some guys blitz, but you can redirect the ball away from him. Somehow, when you tried to redirect the ball away from, Durant, he was able to always just extend the arm, get out behind it, and his touch was great. He could stick it right at you, or he could just sort of feather it other places as well.
Yeah, I mean his range is probably the best ever.
Yeah, in his prime, without a doubt, it applied the extra dimension of pressure, because there are lots of guys who can blitz, but his ability to get it from so many other places, it's just that extra dimension which made him the player that he is.
So let's talk about prime. You think he's still in his prime, or where are we going?
I think this might be their last season. I think anytime he's on the court, he's a threat to win the Nationals. But I guess the best way to describe it is, remember the old days when Federer first came up, right? It was like people just couldn't even play against him. They'd be happy to get a set, and they're like, oh, I'm off the court, I got a set, right?
Right.
I would think what's different is the mystique is not there, right? It's that pressure of Tiger Woods in his heyday of winning a tournament. If it was down there, the worst thing, you felt like you lost before you started, right? Then at some point something happens and it breaks, and that I think is the biggest difference, right? When you get to that point, they won 3 Nationals and they were in finals, and the learning process there for Stephen Mitchell to become the great player that he is. And he basically almost had 2 careers, Durant. And when he was at the height of it, it was you stepped out of the court and you were halfway done before you started, right?
Right.
And
right. Well,
I
your
think that's
expectation
the
wasn't to win.
difference. What?
Yeah.
Yes, your expectation wasn't
your-
to win. Let's survive and hope he gives us a chance to get games, and maybe we steal a
Right.
set, and then maybe somehow they just completely lose it and we win, right? You know, it was, and there were only a few guys who really could stand up to that. You know, I think that's the difference. So it's not about the greatness of Prime. It's more like, you know, and I think it's also just a test. You know, they're building two businesses, right? And you've been doing this for 20 years, you know, 15, 20 years. You're the greatest player of all time. You know, everything has a maximum shelf life, and you can sort of chart it, right? You know, your career, my career, the same types of stuff. Clearly not the same types of career, but, you know, that's how I look at it. It's more the mystique. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
No, I do. And, you know, you're talking about a player with Durant that has won national championships with 3 different players, Albrights, Parsons, and Mitchell.
Right.
And we were talking about it earlier, David Broderick and I on the stream, that, you know, Stephen Mitchell and Johan Durant have been partners for years and years. And I don't even think they played another tournament with another partner in all those years. I mean, you just don't see that much. And it's so cool, and it's not only that, it's just cool for the game.
Yeah, without a doubt. No, look, if this is their last season, and I hope it's not, they will be sorely missed.
Absolutely. We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by Joho.
At Volley, we build tools to unlock your potential. The new Volley PTI feature breaks down your game like never before. Ever wondered, which partner has impacted my PTI the most? What's our win percentage as the favorite or underdog? Do I perform differently in 2 or 3 set matches? Now, it's all at your fingertips. The PTI tool is free to everyone. Download the Volley app today and level up your game. We'll see you on the court.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Love 15.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Short Hills Invitational in Short Hills, New Jersey, with the finals of the men's. I tell you what, Brad, the finals of the men's Short Hills Invitational, which is basically the national championship. I mean, obviously that's going to happen in a couple weeks, but Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell playing against Grant McNerney and Adam Morgan. You just called the longest match in Guinness Book World History with Adam Morgan. You did, didn't you?
I don't know, but we'll say that. You know,
I just want to.
Let's get it on record.
I want to congratulate you. I'm Guy Moore along with Brad Easterbrook. Brad, take us over the players here.
All right, so let's go real quickly. First set goes to Durant and Mitchell, who got out to a quick start. Then they were able to tie it up 4-4, McNerney and Morgan, but they come through down the stretch here. So on the far side, you know, top of your screen, that's a great cut finisher there from McNerney. In the red,
Love 30.
with the headband, Graham McNerney, his partner Adam Morgan in the white cap. And here we go, Stephen Mitchell, bottom right of your screen in the replay here, and his partner Johan Durant. So, you know, 2 of the greatest and one of the greatest teams of all time, Durant and Mitchell. It's their first final of the year, I believe, right? And I'll check in with our producers there. You know, so it's great to see them back at a final, playing at this high level right before Nationals. As you said, Short Hills is widely considered sort of the precursor to the Nationals. You know, like it's the last moment where the teams get their practice in, and a lot of prognostication for who might win a National, who could do it this year. It happens right here at the Short Hills Invitational. It's been happening for years. Now, that's a huge forehand from McNerney, but even so, he's got Durant right bellied up to the net. It's not the one he wants.
Yeah, and Durant, I mean, he's so still and just volleys right behind him. And when you drive the ball when you shouldn't, you're the one scrambling, and that's a great example of that. Yeah, you know, Brad, you got, I mean, McNerney and Morgan, I mean, they've had an unbelievable year. They won Medina in Chicago. They won Detroit. And they won the Birchwood Open just recently. I mean, this is a formidable team. Great partnership.
Ooh.
Advantage, McNerney, Morgan.
No, without a doubt. And from the moment they got together, I expected there to be, look, Graham McNerney's like a great partner to play with, but so is Adam Morgan. They both have like a skill set that is completely transferable to probably any partner that they play with. But I didn't know they were going to gel together so quickly. You know, it seems incredibly seamless the way they actually cover each other, the way they're looking for, you know, offense. You know, and Adam Morgan, he's like a coiled spring over there. It doesn't bother him to wait to get a drive that he wants to hit. You can see him. He's like, he presses forward. Watch, he takes one step back, then he takes one step in, both hands on the rack. He's ready to thump a forehand or a backhand. And that's a drive. There it comes. Right. Oh, such good hands from all players.
Well, you know the thing about Morgan too, Brad, is I just rarely, and again, I'm not trying to keep bringing up a match that you just called for 5.5 hours, but honestly, my question for you is, in those 5.5 hours, how many bad decisions did you see Adam Morgan make? He just does not make bad decisions.
Yeah, few to none. I mean, you could count him for sure on one hand. You know, maybe one blitz that he should have let go through and he went, but really none. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He was rock solid in that game.
They lead 1-0 second set. Durant Mitchell won the first 6-4.
All right, so that's great for McNerney and Morgan. I'm a big believer in getting your first lead of the match. You know, they were down that whole set. They fought it back to 4-all, but then Durant and Mitchell are able to close out that set. Here they get a break right off the bat. First time they're ahead. See if they can get some momentum going. I don't know how you feel about it because these guys have been grinding, and we both talked about it. It doesn't look like the effects of the 5.5 hour match has really affected them that much. They're in it mentally. They know how important this is. But I feel like they can't really fall behind. I'd like to see them play with this lead or hang, you know, tight.
Oh, there's no doubt they can't fall behind because, you know, you as well as I know that Durant and Mitchell are great front runners, so it'll just get more silly.
That's a great
there's a
use
hard
of
one.
That. Oh, and he sees it, but he's not sure where it's going. It ends up right on top of his head.
So, Brad, great replay to see here because it is the hardest overhead in the game. It always has been. It always will be.
You're talking about the hardest to get? Yeah. And there you see a version of the
well,
same overhead, but this time it's from the baseline to the net. You know, just a hard smash.
Well,
love it from Mitchell.
It's just the overhead that Durant just hit. He hit it once in the semifinals, late in the second set, and he chooses wisely when to hit it. But it's kind of like, hey, I'm going to start dictating play even more. I mean, it is one of the most difficult shots to defend in the game. You're starting to see already that he might go there.
I'd like to see him use it a bit more. That's just such a good roller. Wow.
I've always said that, and I've spoken to him about it a little bit, and I'm like, Johan, I mean, I've been on the other side of that. Why don't you use it more? And he stays quiet about it, but that's fine because he obviously has tactics, but
right.
It is a devastating shot.
It also fits into the brand to a degree in the sense that create movement, create speed, right? Play in transition more. Generally, it's going to benefit you in all cases. Even if they get it and hit a good drive, right? It still's not it's still within a plan, right? That's good for you.
Tied 1-1, second set.
All right, so immediately break right back. Good job for them.
So Brad, even that game right there, the way Randt sped it up with his rollers is, I would be interested to see if that continues, because you could see the success of that, right? I mean, just completely defense from McNerney and Morgan when those overheads are coming that way.
Turn around,
And
flip drive. I love this. This is a great point here. Wow.
Yeah, there it is. And by the way, when he hits those rollers and then Mitchell starts lighting it up, it allows them to also get short overheads and lobs to do what Randt just did. So, I mean, if we don't see a lot more of this, I think we should see a lot more of this, because it's...
Yeah, you're saying that if we don't see it, he should be breaking it out. It doesn't really matter. It's something that he should just be adding into his repertoire without a doubt. You know, just because of the way it affects tempo. And, you know, and oddly, you know, we brought up something before, just briefly, like when I brought up mystique, right? Isn't that part of the mystique too? You know, the hard over. Who's better at it than him, right?
Nobody.
Who's popularized it more? Who, when,
Nobody.
if he, like, who at the time, right? And we talked about, you know, prime or height of the game. If you upset him in a match or something like that, you were like, he might decide to hit 10 of them at you, right? You know, like, not that he was a bully or any of that kind of stuff. In no way, shape, or form. He's one of the great sports and great competitors out there. But, you know, I've seen him use it as like a weapon, you know, and it's a form of, you know, to some degree adds to the mystique or the intimidation. When's he going to hit it? You know, when's it going to happen, right? And
exactly.
That's part of it, and that's sort of what you're bringing up to a degree as well.
About 500%, because if you've ever had that roller hit at you at that speed, you have to look for it, because there is no better in the game at this point. I mean, like Mitchell's roller is good, but it lands shorter in the court. Not taking away from anything about Mitchell's overhead and his roller.
It's different. And we're talking more specifically not just about a roller. Like Mitchell can hit a roller that he snaps into the side screen and it goes down or it goes low, or he puts, you know, but we're talking about the hard one at the body that explodes off the back screen.
40-15.
Makes you jump out of the way.
If it doesn't hit you.
If it doesn't hit you, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, there are some even legendary stories along the line with that. You know, one in President's Cup, another one just a couple of years ago in Boston. You know, against your old partner Drew Broderick and Tomas Christian. You know, they're like legendarily documented stories of the use of that.
Yeah,
overhead to dictate
they'll
matches.
talk about the they'll talk about the third set 2 years ago when they both got hit 18 times.
It was only 18.
They will.
There you go.
That was the last count. Great ball by McNerney.
Yeah, he read the movement and flipped it into the movement. You're right. Just gets him on the hip. He knows the hip's going over there. Great shot. They can, you know, they're right. They're hanging in here. This is exactly what they want. Oh, he's trying to hit an offensive volley from a tough position there. So another break point here for McNerney and Morgan.
Wow.
Yeah,
Game,
take it.
McNerney Morgan, they lead 2-1, second set.
And that was kind of a quickie, right? It looked like that game was going well. They had the tempo they wanted. Then, boom, three quick errors.
And I'll tell you something too, Brad. I mean, on a side note, you look at the partnership of Randt and Mitchell. There is never either one of them hanging their heads. There is never either one of them looking like they don't want to play together. There is never neither one of them not on the same page. It doesn't matter if someone made a couple errors here or there. I mean, they are really, really, really together as a team. And that's why they play together for this amount of time. I mean, how many teams play 6, 7, 8 years together?
Yeah, it's not a simple thing to do, and they're great friends on and off the court. And it's been great for them to share in this success and become one of the greatest teams in the sport.
Hands down. I mean, I don't even know in the last 10 years a partnership that it has honestly existed that long.
It's a smart play. Oh! He's trying to hook that around. Great
All good. 15 love.
reply drive
Right.
there from McNerney.
And this is where Durant and Mitchell need to be careful because McNerney and Morgan, they're ready to stay here through the Super Bowl tonight.
And they got, they got some good, they're hanging in and hanging around, and they're going to wait. And when they get to that moment, anything can kind of happen. Great leave there from McNerney. As good as he is in the exchange, he knows he's beat. So smart leave. Wait for the
Wow,
coverage.
and that's Brad. Did you see that? That ball was hit right at him, and he just moved out of the way. I mean, that is not easy to do, not to dive at that ball.
No,
But he trusts, he trusts Morgan so much.
Heavy rollers getting near the crease. He's going.
Hard side back. Brad, you like the hard side back?
I love it because it creates movement to the crease, and absolutely. Ah, beautifully done. That was pretty masterful.
15 off.
All the balls kind of just kept him slightly off balance, so he gets the one ball he can finish it with on the drop. Here goes the carve right in there. Gives him the short ball. Boom.
Yeah, forehand volley too. Forehand volley ready. Bang. We don't teach it, but
That's long.
it's
30-15.
I tell you what, McNerney and Morgan are handling this pace well right now. I mean, I think, we thought about slowing it down, but this is not slow at all. They are.
Yeah, they're managing it very well, actually. And what they're doing, though, is they're also eliminating a couple of ways they were losing points, which is in the first 2 or 3 balls, right? So now they're getting into it with a screen drive off the return of serve or something else and getting out of losing the point within the first 2 or 3 shots. And that's always what you want to do. Don't allow, Mitchell and Durant to beat you with returns.
Absolutely. And like we said earlier, Mitchell, oh boy.
I love that.
40-15.
Look at this. Great replays. Push it back here. Sort of weak lob, and he
McNerney.
holds. Just lets it drop under the net. Absolute perfect.
I tell you what, McNerney and Morgan go up 3-1 here.
40-30.
We got a serious match. And again, Brad, I mean, you don't see McNerney and Morgan showing any effects, not that I could see from a 5.5-hour match. I mean, that's crazy.
Now, first few games, I thought I saw a little bit of it, but I don't see it at all. I think they're right in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, do they know they have to go back to Chicago tonight or no?
I don't think they do. And, and they can fly in style. McNerney takes this match. We told you, he's first in the APTA Cup. He can get a G5.
Wow. Look at McNerney.
Game, McNerney Morgan. They lead 3-1 second set.
I love it. They're getting some separation here. They got their first lead in the match. A couple of breaks in a row.
And that is what McNerney and Morgan need to do from a net perspective is McNerney's got to control, and I know you called that in your last match, control more the net play. Not any disregard to Morgan,
Yeah,
but
it's
just
not
because
about that. It's using their strengths in the way they need to use them. Morgan's
100%.
great at spot volleying, and when they come at him, he's able to, do a really good job defending, and he's also really good at hitting a long roller through the court, but he doesn't dictate. At the net, McNerney dictates, and he does damage. You'll see Morgan make a blitz once in a while, and he's very good at it. It's just a difference, and all teams got to use their strengths to the maximum of their abilities. That's the whole idea, right?
Yeah, and Morgan will. I mean, the way he volleys. I mean, if you watch his stance, he looks like a hockey goalie. I mean, he is always got a great wide base, and he's just so solid and balanced. And that's why I think McNerney and Morgan are so great when McNerney's controlling the tempo from the net side of their scheme, hitting the overheads because of the variety. I mean, Morgan's overhead's great, but McNerney's overhead just makes you think a lot more.
Oh, look at that perfect touch on that drive. Nice.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah, great playing there.
look at McNerney with his cutters.
Yeah, I think McNerney is playing like it hasn't affected him, and he's playing loose, like not loose in a bad way, like not afraid of any of the moment, right? He's allowing himself to hit some shots here, to go for it. It's not like in the other matches felt like everything was a preman. Don't miss, just don't miss, just don't miss. Here he's allowing himself to create, more so. At the net he was trying to create in the semifinal match, but here he's really allowing himself. He's letting the ball drop on the one, hit a cut finisher before. He's hit 3 cut finishers already, or 4 in this match. He's opening up the forehand, and it's just great to see.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, his cutter volleys this match, I mean, he's always had a great cutter volley, but it's as good as I've seen this match. I mean, did you see any of that last match? Not nearly as much as we've seen now, right?
No, but it's a different, like I said, it's kind of different way he's thinking about it in this match. He's allowing it to get more open. There it was more like the premium was first, don't miss. Now he was doing those long cutters in there, and he had a couple of short ones, but it was about just making less mistakes, not necessarily hitting the shot, like that's going to. Here I'm loving seeing it because he is making a difference. Wow, that's great touch there.
And that's where Morgan is so good. I mean, that drive, and wow.
These guys are doing a great job on the baseline. Both these teams are really trying to establish themselves in this point, and they're both doing a great job.
The other thing too, Brad, that McNerney and Morgan do, and same with Randt and Mitchell, is their communication skills are lights out great.
Oh, Morgan!
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
That's outstanding.
Watch this. Watch his base when he hits his volley. Watch. Again, he's not stepping in front. He just goes lateral. Probably one of the best volleys in the game.
Oh, he's made that a few times today, the turnaround drive. Can't come up with that one. But another break point for McNerney Morgan, who are just firing on cylinders now, right? They're just playing a great game. Good balanced use of offense.
Game, McNerney Morgan, they lead 4-1, second set. Durant Mitchell won the first, 6-4.
All right, well, Corient, another one of our great sponsors, and Corient is the official sponsor of the APTA's 2024-25 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. And to learn more, go to corient.com.
Yeah, Brad, I think that McNerney and Morgan do a great job lulling you into their tempo, and that's kind of what's happened here in this second set. I mean, and the other thing too, Brad, is they just never go away.
No, they're hanging. Yep, more than hanging. Right now, they're actually, really dealing some exceptional play. I love how McNerney has responded here. That's a perfect shot there again. Now he's going cut short. Oh, and Randt was going body on that hard slapper. Does not come up with the goods. You see McNerney, he was hightailing it. If he could have gotten to the door, he would have gone off the court, but gets out of the way either way, and it's their point. And right now they're dictating the pace and the control of the play, but it's not just by slowing it down.
No, they're not slowing it down.
Yeah.
I think McNerney's just done a great job with controlling the net, and I think, I mean, not that Morgan needs to feed off that, but he does. I mean, the partnership is solid.
No, it's no question. It's rock solid. Morgan, to me, is also like, he just does what he does. I just think their pieces fit so well together, meaning whoever he's playing with, he's looking to drive, right? He's got that great drive, good forehand. You see him, he'll press in, he walks back. He takes 2 steps forward, he's ready. Like you said, he's got a kind of a wide base. If the ball comes in his strike zone, he moves in and sticks it. He has good awareness of where to go with it. He's just rock solid.
Yeah, I kind of want to see Morgan just yell at one time. I just want to see him yell. Do you think he's ever going to yell at something?
I mean, he gives it a, he's good with the fist bump. He's got a mic drop fist bump. And, the primal yell, like guttural, like kind of.
Like just
yeah!
yell.
Just yell.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, I got one
Just
of those.
yell.
Just yelling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe you can ask him nicely.
No, he doesn't need to. I mean, my point is that he just doesn't have a pulse.
No,
I mean, it's just.
I was saying it in the last match. It does not appear. He appears in the moment and unaffected by pressure at all times. Match point down. He knows it's a big point, but he's going to hit the drive. If it's in his wheelhouse, he's hitting it. He's not like, but he also knows like he understands the moment enough to not go for the crazy drive, right? He's going to hit the drive, but he'll hit the one drive. That's a great shot, and that's where the movement of Durant and Mitchell go against him.
30-15.
Playing so well, McNerney and Morgan. Oh, that's trouble. What a get. And then what a slippery little, I don't know what to call that. He just sort of slid it around him. It was like slithery.
Slithery, that's a good word, Brad.
Slithery. Like that was amazing. Great shot.
And it's kind of interesting in this match, too. You have Morgan and you have Mitchell, one of the only, probably, I don't know, in the top 10, 15 players still using that sidearm serve. They love it.
Yeah, for those guys,
that top.
Yeah, no. It sort of went in fashion, and then it mostly disappeared for most players, but there's still a few who use it. And you got Mitchell and Morgan, the two that really. That's such a good overhead, just so good.
So good.
Yeah, and it's tough to get underneath it, so Mitchell elects to try to hit a tough little touch drive there. Hard to execute. Game point for 5-1 for McNerney Morgan, and really, honestly, since it's been 4-1 down. They've had the better of this match. They made the move back, and Durant and Mitchell were able to cut it off, finish that set out. But they have been lights out since that moment.
Love.
And that time you saw Mitchell go for the offensive volley again. He gets it high. That time he gets him. Last service game he went for a couple, and this is where it started, and he kind of powered it out. Like that one there.
15 all.
I'll tell you here too, Brad. I mean, it's 5-1, so it's going to be a tough set to come back from.
15.
But this is where Durant, Mitchell need to go into some type of I formation. Show them something different, because McNerney and Morgan are in their element right now. They don't care 1 second about playing.
Beautiful. And there's the extendo arm, and where you think you've got him. I think when that came off of McNerney's racket, I thought he probably thought, I got something good going here. I'm going to pass him outside. And, of course, the stick of the paddle out and the quick move.
Wow.
Right? All right, so.
I don't even know how you do that.
One more game point here for Durant and Mitchell. Just hang around in the set, see if they can make some sort of foray back.
Yeah, so what a tale of momentum, right? And the momentum changed at the end of that
Game, Durant
first set.
Mitchell. McNerney Morgan lead 5-2, second set.
And I tell you,
Durant Mitchell won the first 6-4.
sorry, I jumped in there on Mikey Himsky because I was about to give him props. He is like got the best enunciation of any umpire out there. It is like clear as a bell. It's loud. Listen, I can make that my ringtone guy. But, going back to what you were saying before, it is, you got Durant Mitchell. You're talking about them playing I formation. When have you seen them play a lot of I formation? Is it in their nature to even do it, right? I'm trying to recall the times they've used it to deflect against a hard driving team. And I'm struggling to see. I know there's been a few, but in my own mind, I feel like it's always the other way around. Everybody's dealing with them, not they making the adjustments. Not that they don't adjust to play defense or switch in the backcourt or make those adjustments. I'm just not sure that's always been the case.
Yeah,
but I don't disagree with you.
know,
Change it up because they're getting beat right now. They're getting beat. They're getting outplayed by McNerney and Morgan, right?
Yeah, and it just goes back to period, whether they've done it or not, or whether they're used to it or not, doesn't really matter. They've got to do something to change the whole tempo of this match. And McNerney and Morgan are returning well and getting into the point better than them. So same in the first set, by the way, and you saw McNerney and Morgan start to make those adjustments. I'll be interested to see too here, Brad, if Johan starts hitting the ball harder like you're starting to see now. Just to try to change the dynamic. There it is.
Right.
Yep.
To
You're
sort
starting
of
to
assert control again, right? That
exactly,
kind of thing?
exactly. Because clearly the tempo is not favoring them.
And tempo, not tempo, I don't think they're like disappointed with the tempo of how this is going. It's not a grind. They're playing points at a rate that's fast enough. But regardless, what's happening is it's almost like, maybe you could use the hard overhead as like a shock value to, sort of break what's happening. Like these guys are starting to go, you got McNerney, he's hitting cut over, he's letting the ball drop on the net, he's finishing points. A couple of shock value overheads. Let's see if we can change this dynamic a little bit. That's perfect.
I tell you what, this temperature feeds off McNerney's overhead, but the way he's hitting the overheads the past set and a half, amazing. I mean, the cut and the spin on there. So then you would go too, Brad. Hey, let's lob Morgan a little bit more. But they're doing a good job of letting Graham just take over the net.
Yeah, and McNerney's doing a good enough job of not making it so easy for them to control the overhead that well, right? Control the lob that well. Where it's pinpoint right down the line. A little flick. And that was getting close to that shot that you had brought up before where he's going to hold it and attack it. Here he's kind of using a little deft shot. McNerney's read it both times. McNerney tried just in the game before, actually. That might be wide. No, perfect.
Well, and you can see Johan, too, Durant lobbing down the line, but they are doing a good job of keeping him on the hook. They're not moving the ball back towards Mitchell, which would create a lot of positioning problems when they have to move back to their left. I mean, Durant's hitting every ball down the line when they're... I mean, think about it. We're actually talking about them hitting 4 or 5 overheads to Durant. Which they have
right.
been.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Morgan.
Yes, Perfect little laser beam, catches him. He can make that shot, but he caught him a little late there.
40-15.
All right, 2 set points here for McNerney and Morgan to bring this to a third. All right, we got
What's
something
Morgan?
on-
What's
Yeah,
Morgan? What's going on there, Brad?
I'm going to go with Schmutz. There's Schmutz on the court, and he's moving it. That's what's going on. And he's doing it well with intention and control.
Yeah, I mean,
right? The right tempo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So-
he had his left and right foot stepping in there. I mean, pretty good.
Pretty good stuff. A little sun actually creeping in for the first time all day. We have not seen a shadow on this court all day long. And now we got a couple. All right, sneaking back out again. Oh, holds it, fakes a hard drive. Again, 2 set points here for McNerney Morgan. Oh! Just off the top of the net. That's going to get hit. Yep. Wisely bailed. Smart transition.
And Brad, I'll tell you what, I mean, not to keep remembering what just happened with you for the last 5.5 hours in the previous match, but you know, McNerney and Morgan, they're willing to play at different paces. I mean, they will play fast, they will play slow, and they will adapt. And that's exactly what's happening here.
Well, you know, in some ways, there's some room to work with here. Oh, and look at that. Oh, fortune favors. He was slapping it right at McNerney. He's going. And you've seen Mitchell do that 4 or 5 times today. You know, like the hard ball at the body, not really trying to pass or anything. He's been successful on a couple. I'm not sure he's been even on the plus side of it. Either way, they get a breakpoint save there. All right, so set point number 2, and that is game and first set.
McNerney Morgan. They win the second set, 6-2. We're tied 1 set all.
Well, Brad, you and I are going to third set. We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by Joho.
Want to see how Volley can transform training at your club? We've got a great offer for you. Gather 30 of your club friends and you'll get a free 30-day trial of Volley. Experience firsthand how Volley's trainer can help everyone improve. Increase reps and track your progress, all while training smarter. Don't miss out. Visit getvolley.com and unlock your club's full potential with a 30-day free trial.
Johan Randt from SA Rackets. Just so you know, they forced me to do this tip for APTA. It's not going to be as good as the SA Rackets one, so follow them. But here comes the tip. It's very simple. On the volley, if you can, and you're close to the net, really work on closing your racket face, because that way you can keep the ball down. If you keep your face open, they hit it hard, it's very difficult to get the ball in. Maybe a little bit more. Hey, hit it low here, donkey. Simple tip, but a good one. If you change from being on the net to off the net, obviously you want your face to be open. Fantastic. Thank you very much for listening.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Short Hills Invitational in Short Hills, New Jersey, with the men's finals between...
We played 5, got 2 more. Okay.
We have Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell playing against Graham McNerney and Adam Morgan. This probably is, Brad, I'm Guy Moore along with Brad Easterbrook. I mean, the longest tournament in APTA history. It's all good, right?
All right.
15.
So great first set there, Guy. What questions you got for me?
I got a lot of questions. I mean, it's been 2 momentum shifts. I mean, Durant and Mitchell went up quick and early in the first set. McNerney and Morgan turned the momentum around, obviously controlled that second set. How do you see the third set going?
You know, it's interesting. The level for Morgan and McNerney ratcheted up, right? And they were able to dictate points from the backcourt. And there were no real adjustments kind of for Randt and Mitchell, right? So I have to feel like, I have to think they're going to not allow that to sort of happen. At a certain point, you know, I wouldn't think they were shocked by it, but it all just kept slipping away, right? And it looked to me more like McNerney and Morgan were, Randt and Mitchell were just waiting for something to break in McNerney and Morgan, as opposed to taking matters and controlling it in their own hands. You know, speeding up the points the way they want to, and definitely McNerney loosened it up a little. I expect in this point they're going to try to, you know, command the tempo more, and maybe hopefully even use a couple of strategies, like, you know, throw an Australian or a planned poach or a different move, you know. And in the first set we were talking about, they got to stop Randt and Mitchell from winning points in the first 3 balls. You know, they're going to have to just think it through a little differently here.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I would also say, too, that McNerney, really from a Morgan McNerney standpoint, took over the match, especially from the net. And I think that going forward, from a team standpoint, that is something that they need to
just continue, right?
Really. Oh, my gosh. I mean,
Yeah.
McNerney's, I think the more tempo he has, the better he gets. He just starts seeing the court better and knowing when to cut and when to slash. I mean, and what I would be willing to
That's interesting.
ask the question.
He goes right back to heavy transition back from McNerney. Wow, laser beams coming out of Morgan. He has been spot on with that drive. I don't think he's missed one.
Yeah, I mean.
Now, these are amazing transition points.
I do think this third set is not going to be slow. I think it's going to be fast.
And what we've seen, though, is that this ability to play fast exists within McNerney and Morgan, right? You know, they played a match, and you play Regalado and Salazar. It's a completely different measured match, right? They come through that. They really find a way. There was never a point until it got to that third set where you thought, yeah, they got this, right? Or they're winning, right? It was like they weren't winning until they won that set, and then the third set just came, and it definitely felt like, you know, something broke a little in the Regalado Salazar. Even when they won points or games, you didn't see like a fist pump or, you know, and, you know, maybe it had to do with how it went and a couple of little strange moments, you know, where we had an overturned call, which was huge.
Yep.
You know,
I saw that.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe it gives you a sour taste, whatever. But the third set didn't have a lot of fire, and so those guys dictated and dominated it. And, you know, kudos to them. They hung in there. And now they get beaten the first set here, and they find a way right back in. They're just playing beautiful. But they're discovering that they've opened up parts of the game, and it's working, right? It doesn't all have to be just so measured and never hit it. You know, McNerney's striking the forehand more. He's actually opened up the cut overhead. He's hitting more cut finishers in this match than he probably has in the entire tournament.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more, Brad. And I think the two things you mentioned are the most important. McNerney hitting his forehand with commitment, not leaning on his back leg, but going forward, because when he goes forward, he hits it with so much more definition. And him controlling the net with his overhead. I mean, his overhead, I mean, he's got so many overheads. Let's talk about him. He could hit the waterfall. He could hit the cutter. He could hit the slash. I mean, Morgan's overhead is one of the best neutralizing overheads in the game.
It's more neutral, right.
But combine McNerney's overhead and that pressure, and then Morgan's volley at the net. I mean, Morgan's volley, with how many set points did Regalado Salazar have in that tiebreaker in your last match?
Oh, yeah, they hammered it at him 3-4 times, and he made every volley. He was a rock.
Exactly. So that is, I mean, you're talking about a team in McNerney and Morgan that are on the stage to win nationals. And again, it comes down to the draw, but these guys, Tweener.
And a good time for it, honestly. I don't think he's getting it any other way.
No way.
40-30.
But again, I mean, look at these guys, McNerney, Morgan. Win or lose this match, playing a 5.5-hour match and being even competitive here, I mean, there it is.
Yeah, there's what you're looking for and what we're looking for.
Randt Mitchell, they lead 1 game to love 3rd set.
Regardless of, tempo,
we're
right?
We're going to see that more, yeah. Well, you just saw, Brad, agree or disagree, the best roller overhead in the game for the last 10 to 12 years. Yes or no?
Oh, yeah, no, without a doubt. I'll distinguish between a roller because that's primarily flat. But, yes, that thing that he hits with hard pace off the back wire is, it's incomparable. There isn't really a comparison in the game. It's he has defined that shot to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, there is just really, literally, at this temperature, no way to catch up with it. And let's talk about the rules of the game. I mean, he hits that roller, and it hits the back screen and then comes back over the net.
Oh, that time he gets him. And that was right there was vintage Randt and Mitchell. Hammering away, big return, comes in, pressures right next with the next ball. A good drive from Morgan, but then he cuts it off, and it's just 1-2. Wow, what a volley from Morgan.
That was crazy good. I mean, how does he even hit that volley, Brad?
I don't know. Just puts his paddle on it. But it's
that,
like
that would make sense. I mean, I can't argue with that.
It was just a great shot.
I just can't.
All right, terrific turnaround drive, and Morgan's he's only missed 1 or 2 of those. Good spot drive. Just coming right around, ball's coming off hot. But the ability to sort of just turn, pull the trigger on that.
And the other thing, Brad, about McNerney Morgan is we've said it a couple times, they just never go away. They just do not go away. You're not going to get the freebies from them. You're just not. And even calling that match with Regalado and Salazar because you don't get freebies for them. I mean, these guys just do not give you anything. You have to earn absolutely every bit of it.
Ooh. He's starting to control and go to work, and you mentioned it before, his ability to control that net is so integral in their comeback and them taking that second set, and he is mixing it.
The other thing that I like McNerney doing in the past couple of matches is hitting that into the hard side back. He is pushing that backhand player all the way into the back screen because that hard side back is keeping them on the defense.
What a shot from Morgan, and Mitchell's hitting a missile in
40-15.
there. And Morgan has made every volley in this game. Is that the yell you were looking for, Guy?
I love that yell.
There you go. Big come on out of Adam Morgan. It was a good strike. Just netted it. He's been just playing at a really high level. Hitter's going to hit. Oh!
Oh, you net.
Deuce.
All right. 2 quick points for Randt Mitchell. This would be a huge steal. You're down 40-15. 2 quick ones. Get this game. Get a little separation. Oh, what a good deep
that
serve.
Advantage, McNerney, Morgan.
Wow. I almost thought that was out. It hit all 3 lines, huh, Brad?
Yeah, no, it looked like it might be. Look at these first volleys. Mitchell is striking that ball.
That's what I was talking about, Morgan's volleys. I mean, he plays it like a hockey goalie, like a catcher. I mean, he's just standing there with his – I mean, have you ever seen a wider base? It's so good.
Good cover there. Good play defensively from – oh!
Wow.
Mitchell surviving. And there's that sky hook from, Adam Morgan. And he does such a great job from deep in the court getting it wide. Most deuce players are looking to sit on that big forehand if you get it anywhere close to him. But he gets it away from it. He's gotten so good with that. That was out, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Morgan just nods. Yeah, it was wide. Deuce.
All right, what are you looking for here? Mitchell blitz?
Yeah, I think they're going to stay back. I just don't even think it's going to be a thing. He's going to stay. All right.
Yeah, and there's
either a screen drive. Yeah, that's it right there. That's what the play is. Oh, look at these shots.
Wow.
Fake, but so good from Adam Morgan.
Wow. Vintage Durant right there, right? There it is. I mean, when Durant does that, Brad, when Durant does that, he is absolutely the best in the game.
Well, it's, as you said vintage. It's quintessential to why, and what people talk about when you say he's, the greatest player of all time, or you could see the things that he could do athletically and how he could dictate points. That's out.
I thought it hit the back of the line.
Oh.
Yeah, I had it on the back of the line.
Called out, overruled by Mike Yahimski. All right.
Yeah, but
let it go.
But did they call that out, or did they just?
Yes, Mitchell and Durant stopped play, called it out, and then you heard Morgan and Mitchell. I mean, you heard Morgan and McNerney say they had it on the line, and Yahimski agreed. So that's it. Overrule. From our vantage point, it's really hard to tell on the live stream. It certainly was super close. But these moments to me, these are the kind where, sometimes I've noticed, like, Durant needs a spark. Like,
Wow.
And I think if he can get one from that, like, get a little mad. Use the hard overhead once or twice, right? Fire yourself up a little bit.
You don't really want him to get mad if you're on the other side of the court, but you're
yeah,
right.
I'm saying that
right.
for him, it's not a bad thing. What a shot from Mitchell.
Wow. Mitchell. Wow.
There's no way I thought he was pulling that out. And he let the ball drop low, and then he flipped it.
Brad, watch this again. Silliness.
Silliness. Absolutely. He let that drop low, and you could see just all the acceleration right at the end with a backhand flick.
Wow.
That was incredible. For a 2-love lead now.
And as much as we talk about what happened there.
Deuce again called out, and again overruled.
Yeah, but wow, I didn't think that was called out by Durant and Mitchell.
Yeah, so you could hear at some point. We'll see there might be a replay hopefully, but nope, there is no replay. Right on the line, great shot. You could hear like a no from Mitchell, and then it just sort of stopped. And again, Yahimski thought it was good. So point goes to McNerney Morgan. And this is good. I like the tense, it's tension here. Big moment in the match.
Hard overhead coming out, Brad, from Durant.
Yep. Not yet, apparently. But I would think so. There's something about it that fires you up a lot, too. Whether you win it with that shot or whether you win it with the transition that follows.
Oh, there's no doubt that balls are being hit harder here.
Oh, great touch there. Flick.
McNerney. Great. Oh, boy.
Gosh, this coverage, perfect. Look at McNerney, though. He's holding that shot. He pushes that one long through. Now he goes short you know, with the next ball, just the variety as you were talking about before, Guy.
By the way, the cutter McNerney just hit there and Randt covered is, I mean, that ball was.
Oh!
Wow. What is going on with Mitchell's backhand, Brad? I mean, is he playing pickleball or squash lately?
He's
What's
playing
he doing?
more pickleball probably, but either way, he has that shot and he's brought it out. You know,
wow.
I feel like this is a moment, like these guys are getting fired up. They're starting to reach what they want. That one was out, and this time actually McNerney just goes, yes, that one was out. He puts his finger up.
Game, Durant Mitchell, they lead 2-0, third set.
That was a great game, and it was fun to see those points hotly contested. 2 overrules, a little fire out there for the, you know, one of the greatest teams.
I tell you what, Brad, as you watch a match progress and you say, hey, what's the denominator? In the last 2 games, it's got to be Stephen Mitchell's backside up.
Well, those 2 shots that he hit were unequivocally a huge difference makers, right? They're tough positions. One was, I think, below the net, and he stuck it. And either one, we know how good of a volleyer McNerney is. He didn't even have a chance on either one. That's how good those were. That's
yeah, they're not easy volleys.
All right, 2 big returns from McNerney Morgan. And this kind of begs the thing that we were talking about before. Do they go to an Australian? You know, do they try something different in their service strategy? Serve and stay back, right?
I think this game's a great indication. Yes, they should.
Right.
As
I mean,
good as
here,
they are.
They got
yes,
it right here.
Should.
Here it is. But it took a while. And that, you know, look, obviously nobody wants to play a game where you just miss 4 volleys. But it's taken a while to get to that point, right? You know, in that solution there, it was that last volley he probably, you know, of the volleys they missed, that was the easiest one. It was actually a pretty reasonable look. But
he got the look he wanted, right?
Yeah, he just pushed it out. So that one was fine, but it was good they used the play. But it took a while for them to get to that point. I think the adjustments, you know, that you could see Morgan making. I'm going to serve and stay back. I'm taking this out of the play. And he's trying to get in with the transition forward. They could do that. They could do Australian. There's plenty of options available to them.
Brad, I have a question for you. You ready?
I am.
If I told you were going to play 8 or 9 hours of paddle in a day, what would you say?
I'd probably just say no. But like, I mean, that's like an easy answer for me. No, I've of course been there, you know, and there were plenty of times where we played 4 matches in a day back in the, you know, tournament schedule. You know, I've logged in over 7 hours in a day, and it's hard. There's no question about it. I found a more comfortable position here in my chair. This works. That ball's just long.
30 low.
And I have to repeat what I've said earlier. I mean, McNerney and Morgan again, going back to the match they played earlier today for all those amount of hours, they are unfazed right now by that. They are completely.
Whatever that was, they're energized in this moment now, right? And then in their comeback. Yeah. Mitchell dealing that backhand.
Mitchell. I mean, Mitchell is on fire with that, but McNerney and Morgan again with a little momentum. I mean, Brad, if you look at like Nunez and Powers, right? More shot makers, right? You look at McNerney and Morgan, just disciplined and steady. And not only that, just from a mental toughness perspective, I mean, but what I've seen is McNerney taking over more of a decisive role at the net. And not only that, but creating more offense from the baseline than he's usually done. I mean, it changes their perspective as a team. I mean, McNerney's always been able to play both ways because he's played with so many partners over the past few years. But, you know, I mean, they're a very dangerous team to win the Nationals hands down.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, they've, did today what only one other team has done all year, and that's beat Regalado and Salazar in just a 5-hour battle, right? A war. They came through the other side of that. Yeah, they've shown the mental toughness there, and he's starting to open it up, and it feels to some degree like we're finding even maybe a possible new level for these guys where, they can grind it out, but we can also just control you, and we can attack you more. Right, not just push you around, but actually attack you. What McNerney's always done in the past is mostly push you around from the backcourt, right?
Exactly.
But he doesn't attack you. It's different, right? He doesn't force the miss. He just shoves you, and then he might make a blitz. That's where he might get you. But it's just different, And when we see the Thunder forehand, it's a different level of intimidation for the net team. They know they can only hit it certain places. It just changes the whole dynamic of how you have to approach playing them.
Yeah, that's how I've seen it today with McNerney especially. I mean, first of all, when he's at the net, controlling more of that scheme. But it's interesting, too, when Morgan and McNerney play the deuce side of the court, how tight to the net McNerney is and how many overheads he lets Morgan hit. Kind of a different stagger than we're used to seeing, but it's because McNerney is so good at cutting off balls. But I think that the two biggest things today that I've seen from McNerney is his forehand drive and Morgan and McNerney recognizing that McNerney needs to hit more overheads.
Yeah, I think they've always known that the overheads need to be controlled by McNerney, but they've done a really good job. They're constantly switching at the net, and you're right, it's always McNerney to the left.
It should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes they don't do that. And, if you and I are playing against McNerney and Morgan, the pressure that McNerney's overhead puts on us just because of the variety keeps us on our heels instead of on our toes.
Here's the point where they're just settling in, and they finish it with a spot drive from McNerney.
Morgan, we're tied 2-all, third set.
And this thing is even up now.
All right, did we could have just, Brad, we could have just started there 2 hours
started
ago.
2-all.
Yeah,
best of three, start at 2-all in the third.
Love 15.
I would not have said no. And again, it's almost like, there we go, stay back. We're seeing them lose points in these first three balls. The last two games, they missed 4 volleys in a row. That's 5 volleys in a row on the first shot of a service game for Randt and Mitchell. And these guys are great teaching pros. Those guys know as well that, that's just something you make sure you're taking care of, right? You're not going to win matches. You're not going to hold serve. Missing 5 fresh volleys in a row, right?
Nope. And Mitchell and Durant have kind of gone away from switching in the back, which I think they need to go back to.
Oh, snap forehand, love 30. And McNerney Morgan starting, they kind of went on a roll in that second set, right? And it feels like a roll could be coming here if Randt and Mitchell are not careful.
Well, and McNerney and Morgan's template has always been, we are not going to give you anything. They don't.
Love 40.
You do not. They are the closest, Brad. They are the closest team to like a Regalado Salazar in terms of not giving you free points as there is on the tour today. They just don't.
Yes, but what we're seeing here is they're taking things now. They missed and forced the first drive there. McNerney just hit the ball right by him. Morgan just hit the ball right by him again. They're forcing these guys out off of the net, right? They are dictating from the back and the front.
You couldn't be more correct, but they just make great decisions. They are not pressing at any time in this match. They haven't, even when they lost the first set 6-4. There is no press. And you and I have talked about this before too, even before
15-40.
Even before McNerney and Morgan were a team. I mean, McNerney has played with how many different partners and been successful? I mean, he does that because he just sets everybody up and just does not make unduly mistakes. And then you team him up with someone like Morgan who does the same, right?
Yeah, it's a great recipe.
30-40.
Oh, just long. Smart play, though. You see him now. They're starting to deal with it. He's not challenging necessarily the return now. He's waiting back. He's going to wait back again. Mitchell does not reach for that. Playing transition balls, hitting behind McNerney. Smart play.
Wow.
40 love down. This would be massive hold for Randt and Mitchell.
Half volley from the baseline. Brad, you do that?
I do.
I mean, Randt made that look easy. It's not easy.
Nope.
Yeah, Durant's going to speed it up here.
Yeah, well, he had a moment there where he had them out of position, and now it's gone. So now he's got to start back. But there's the hard one off the side wire. That'll get hammered, though. I still like it.
I do as well.
I think he just didn't spot it. And I think in some degree, like, he's got to hit it to a different shot. Perfect recognition there from Mitchell. Oh!
Wow. Wow.
But
wow, another half volley.
Mitchell, they lead 3-2, third set.
All right, so volley. Train in real game scenarios with serve and volley, the world's first responsive play drill. Volley's new AI-powered feature tracks your position, the ball, and returns every serve for targeted practice. Try it today on the Volley app. The serve and volley, place selection there where you can actually work on making the first volley that we brought up so many times here today. And that was a great game because it's also a bit of a killer for McNerney Morgan. Everybody, when you lose a match, when you lose a 40-love game, when you're up 40-love, invariably somebody comes off and they're like, oh, we had him 40-love at 4-all and we didn't win the game, right? But it was also great adjustments from, Randt and Mitchell to stay back. They had won, like we said, they had lost 5 points in a row on the first return to serve, so he stayed back. You see him even half volleying balls, just waiting in, and you see Morgan do this, and that's very good. He's got a better chance on that second ball after driving it of getting the net, second or third ball, than he does right off the bat. So he's using that. And you can see Randt and Mitchell do that more in that last game, and it worked well for him. Huge hold from love 40 down.
Yeah, and you see Randt starting to dictating more with the overhead. It's just pressure. So let's see, Brad. Let's see how quick they switch out in the backcourt here, or how quick Mitchell blitzes, or if Morgan just stays back.
He's
which
coming
he
in this time. Nice.
Yep.
Well played. He's done a really good job when he has come in of making that first volley. He actually made the first volley before, too, but Mitchell stuck that second drive, and he actually found the forehand side of McNerney.
Oh. Wow. Those are great volleys. Oh. Well, he was there.
Yeah, he was. I'm not sure what happened. It's hard from our angle to see, but obviously he flied the ball out. Was he trying to volley it down quickly to the side?
Yeah, he stepped with his right foot. He could have just went lateral. Not that I'm telling Durant how to volley, but wow.
Yeah, but Mitchell's been unloading on some returns there, and that's just a great return with a fortunate bounce. Gets right in the crease, and it shoots up the line. So break points here. We go from triple break point for McNerney, for McNerney and Morgan, to double break point here for Durant and Mitchell in a 2-game swing. And there's no question if Durant and Mitchell take this will be the point, sort of like we'll call it the Guy Moore, a turning point of the match. This little swing here.
Yeah, so interesting. Morgan and Durant switched back to Durant on the deuce side here. I would have thought they would go the other way, but different look. Wow. Behind his back.
Now that shot right there has been the one that was a huge difference maker, where he's holding it, and that's a perfect lob. I'm starting to feel like, they're playing some more points that are closer to that vintage play. When they're at the top of the game, Mitchell would put that ball down the line on a dime, one after another, right, to make the ball start going cross-court in. The dink and blitz, there's one break point saved.
30-40.
Wow. I do like that play from Durant, though.
You do. See, I feel a little differently. I feel like of the shots he has, yeah, it can work. You dink it, he's coming in. Anytime Durant's going forward, it's dangerous. But I think when he whacks the forehand, it's better, right? It's more dangerous. It's sort of like how you like the hard overhead. I'd rather he whack it, but that's a great spot. And again, that backhand off the screen.
Durant Mitchell, they lead 4-2, third set.
And you could see McNerney move over to the side, but he still couldn't handle it. All right, this last game that Mitchell served, it was 4 volleys and out. Let's see if they can make it. This one he's got already a better result. Let's see if these guys can smell a little blood in the water.
I think that Durant and Mitchell in the backcourt are leaving Mitchell over in that backhand side just because how successful his backhand drive's been off that backside. I mean, that squash shot he's been hitting has been off the charts the last 2 or 3 games. Yes?
Yeah, he's 3 for 3 on it, where he's hit it 3 times and hit 3, difference-making winners.
Here we go.
Yeah, low cross overhead to the waterfall.
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, things are definitely speeding up here, Brad.
Nope.
Wow. Great spot drive by Morgan.
Low 15.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
Yeah, Steve.
He could have pushed it down the center. He was trying to gain a little purchase in the point by hitting it wide. I think it's better if he does that when he's closer. But good play. Look at that. Right on top of the net. Quick switch.
Too, Brad, and you know what? I think you do a lot of the same, but Durant's head is just so focused on contact of the ball. Like, he never moves his head.
15
I mean, he's watching the ball all the way to his paddle every single time.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's almost like he's demonstrative about it. Like, he gets down, his head is still, he hits the shot, and he's still in that spot looking where he hit it from, with a still head for a full beat. And then when it's over the other side, he's back into, the play, and it's as if it's like he's making a point of it, but it's perfect, right? Because it's exactly what you want to do. All right, he's with the ball the entire way.
Yeah, for sure. So cool to see.
15-30.
All right. Yeah, McNerney Morgan trying to get this break back. Oh, just laser beam. Oh, that's in, tweener.
Wow. Hit the line. He just got lucky there. It was so
and
good.
And McNerney's like, you got it? It's like he didn't think he got it, and he lost focus for a second. So that's a huge, huge get.
I tell you what, Brett, Adam Morgan is crushing his drives.
Just crushing it. Yep.
I mean, beyond crushing it.
Yeah, you can hear the sound off his paddle. It's pop, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's just seeing the ball so well. And again, I mean, I know we've said this about 20 times already in this broadcast, but what a credit to McNerney and Morgan after playing 5.5 hours being just spot on in this match. I mean, you agree?
Oh, without a doubt. And to me, they've showed a lot out here beyond they've been willing to try different strategies. They've adjusted. They've hung in there. They weathered through some improbable circumstances. They're finding more offense in the backcourt. McNerney's, this is the most I've seen him unload forehands in his life, and that is just perfection there from him. Huge forehand, followed by, if you want it, we talked about vintage Randt before, or vintage Mitchell. That's vintage McNerney. Sticks his paddle out right in the way of the next reply drive, and one of the few misses we've seen from Morgan.
Randt Mitchell.
Well, we'll have to say, too, win or lose this match, McNerney and Morgan learn a lot from playing a Regalado Salazar, learn a lot from playing a Durant Mitchell for the Nationals. I mean, they will talk about it. They will say, hey, these were the differences in the match, and they will adjust.
Durant Mitchell, they lead 5-2, third set.
All right, that was a big moment. And, Durant Mitchell have pulled through in a couple of crucial games here in this third set, and they're on the doorstep of their first title of the season in the Short Hills Grand Prix. And it's great to see them back here, and it bodes well for Nationals in a few weeks, March 6th to March 8th. And, of course, that's going to be, again, a Thursday to Saturday event, with Sunday being used as a weather day. If there's bad weather coming in, they'll push it off, and they'll use that day there. So we'll see how it all works out.
Yeah, and then after this tournament, Brad, we head to Pittsburgh for the Steel City Classic, February 15th and 16th, and then on to Indy for the APTA Tour, the 22nd through the 23rd, and like you said, the 6th through the 8th at the Nationals at Philly Cricket.
Well, if I've learned nothing today in my 8 hours of calling paddle, it's that Morgan and McNerney, they don't go away. So it's not over yet until Mike Yahimski says so up in the chair. And after this, we'll do a quick interview with our winners. And Patty's going to come in, and
30-15.
she'll bring it home with you as we guys all go down there and talk to our winners. But we're a ways away from that, and McNerney and Morgan are going to fight to the end, so we'll see here. the other sky hook. Again, he does it beautifully. He gets it sharp enough angle on it. It sort of gives him another 6 inches of height because he's hitting it like a hard down up overhead. Oh! And McNerney goes for the shortcut. It was well read by Mitchell, but he couldn't execute.
Yeah, and I like that cutter from McNerney. I mean, that's what he's been doing all day. Been on point.
Dip and blitz and a combination, and we have match point
30-40
for Randt and Mitchell for their first title of the year.
Morgan's feeling it, ain't he, Brad?
Yeah, Morgan's just in the moment. I sometimes not even sure if he thinks about it one way or another. He just does what he does, and it makes him so dangerous because, like I said, I don't think anything affects him.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
I don't even know what his heart rate is.
I mean, it's 120 over 90. Well, that's his blood pressure.
Well, that's blood pressure, Brad.
I was just throwing out some numbers at you, guy.
Yeah.
Catch you off your game. You're too sharp. And there it is. Game, set, and match.
Set, match. Durant, Mitchell.
All right, Guy, I'm going to leave you in the
6-4,
capable hands with
2-6,
Patty
6-2.
Hogan as I walk out there for an interview with our champions, Randt and Mitchell. Pleasure calling that
Brad.
with you, Guy.
Yeah, love you, brother. I'll see you soon.
Hey, Guy.
Hello, Patty Hogan.
How amazing was this final, Guy?
This final was off the charts, and I will say this, Patty, that all hats off to McNerney and Morgan after playing probably the longest paddle match in, well, other than Regalado Salazar, in paddle history, 5.5 hours, and just being on point during this match.
I have so much respect for them. I love those guys as a team. They are such fighters. I mean, Durant, Mitchell, how great to see them back in the finals, Guy. First final this year, and they win the Short Hills Invitational. Last Grand Prix of the year. Just phenomenal.
Well, too, Patty, with Durant and Mitchell, it's interesting because you see a different Durant and Mitchell today, especially in the semis and the finals. You see Durant doing what he's done so well over the past 7, 8, 10 years, just controlling the court and using his range. And Stephen Mitchell is just beyond great. But the variety in Durant's overhead, I mean, it just dictated play. And Morgan and McNerney played a great match there in the finals. 5.5 hours before that against Regalado Salazar. I don't even know what to say.
It's just amazing, Guy. And kudos to the Short Hills Club. They pulled off a phenomenal event here. And I see Brad Easterbrooks making his way over there onto the court to talk to these guys.
Good.
Brian Skinner's out there. Phenomenal job.
I'm sorry.
And Patty, you and Denise had an unbelievable match in the women's finals, right?
Yeah, we did. Okay, I think returning to Brad.
Okay, good.
Brad looks good after a long day of talking.
Yeah, there we go. No, this is about right. I think I like this. This works for me.
Works for both of us.
It works for both. Thank you, Stephen. All right, we are here with the champions of the Short Hills Invitational, Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell. Congratulations, guys, on a great tournament. It's so great to see you back in the winner's circle. And Stephen, there were a few moments in that match where you broke out the backhand drive that was so impactful off the, the backside screen. Yeah. And you hadn't really hit it all match, but 3 times in that final set you broke it out. What was like? Did you just at that moment you were feeling we just needed a spark or a shot to hit?
He told me to go over and do it. So I
You
follow
did.
directions.
You're
Yeah.
following directions from Johan Durant. Now, that's got to be different than normal because usually you don't listen to him, right? You go
That's
off on
true.
your own
That's
road
true. Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing.
true.
And Johan, many times in the match, you guys got back to your old form of attacking, blitzing. But there was a couple of moments where they were able to attack back and get some moments on you where there was a spot where you missed like 4 or 5 volleys in a row. It's not a situation you're used to, but you made the adjustments at the end. How do you feel about the overall play for the weekend?
Hey, it's a big improvement. I thought, I'd never won again at some point, but so it's a good feeling to get through. But I think we've been playing a little bit more, a little bit better every tournament. So, it's good timing, but, it feels good to have one decent tournament, but long way to go,
Long way to go. Well, congratulations, guys. Any final words here? It was a great tournament for you guys. I know everybody, I can speak for everybody when it's a pleasure seeing you guys back in the winner's circle and reaching some of that form that made you one of the greatest teams of all time. So any final words or any thanks you want to give out?
Just want to thank Brian and the whole team here at Short Hills. Unbelievable. It's always such a great tournament. Thanks for having us.
Johan?
Definitely. I mean, the guys gave us food, did everything extra for us, and Brian did a horrible job running the tournament.
That's perfect. Wait, you guys got food?
All the time.
They gave you food?
It's very nice.
Congratulations,
Thanks.
Jackie, Brian. Brian, you want to say a few words, or are you good? No, we're good to go. And that's a wrap here for the Short Hills Invitational. Congratulations again to our winners, Johan Durant, Stephen Mitchell. And we'll see you guys in Steel City and then on to Nationals after that. Congratulations again, boys.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Guy Moore.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man.
How amazing. How amazing. Great to see those. Brad said it, just like we said, great to see these guys back in the finals, back in the winner's circles. How fun are Nationals in Philly going to be, Guy?
Well, I have to tell you, Patty, not only from the men's side, but the women's side as well. I mean, it's shaping up to, in my opinion, Patty, to be the best season in APTA paddle we've ever seen.
I agree. So much depth in the game, and with Paige and Lopez getting their second tour win on the women's side, it's going to make for an exciting event. Philly Nationals. Looking forward to it, Guy.
Same here, Patty. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you for everybody watching.
And that's a wrap.
Want to see how volley can transform training at your club? We've got a great offer for you. Gather 30 of your club friends and you'll get a free 30-day trial of volley. Experience firsthand how volley's trainer can help everyone improve. Increase reps and track your progress, all while training smarter. Don't miss out. Visit getvolley.com and unlock your club's full potential with a 30-day.
Hi, I'm Andrew Ong and I'm head of the Players Committee. The Players Committee looks out for the players at the tournaments. Having the tournament experience be good is such a great thing, so we want to make sure that the players are represented and the things that are important to the players are thought about. A lot of players have been talking about the quarterfinal reprieve. That is optional this year, so that's made the players happy. Starting January 1st, the number of tournaments that contribute to the players' rankings will go from 3 to 4, and the reason for that is the APTA Tour has gone up in the number of events in the last couple years, from 12 or 13 to almost 20 this year, and so we just want to take a larger sample size towards players' rankings. We're trying to figure out scoring formats too. The matches get so long at this high level that figuring out if no ad is right or when to do no ad and tiebreakers and stuff is tough. Also, the size of the draws. Traditionally, 32 draw has been the number for most of the tour events. One of the great things about charities is that we'll have a 64 draw so all the local players can play. But some of the tour events are leaning towards 16. I think they want single-day tournaments. The sponsors and the fans really like the Saturday night final. It's finding a balance between what's good for the sponsors and the tournament and, court availability and things like that, but also growing the game and keeping everyone engaged and letting everyone play. I'm Andrew Ong, and if you guys have any comments, ideas, or things you want to talk about, feel free to reach out to me. Email, text, everybody has my number, and I really do care about growing the game in a good way.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. and our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Who is the player with the best serve?
Best serve, we're gonna go Tyler Frazier.
Best serve, Fraser.
Sven Burus. Well, I just had to deal with Sven Burus, so he's definitely up there.
Player with the best cutter?
Guillermo Nunez or Johan Durant.
My partner, Eric West.
Tyler Frazier, without a doubt.
Dan Hansen.
Guillermo Nunez. I gotta say Dan Hansen's, it's just filthy.
Best roller?
Either Alvi or Jose.
I'm gonna pick my own boy Russell Benkham on that one.
Johan Durant.
Jose Salazar.
Jose Salazar.
Myself.
Best drive?
Alvi Regalado.
Jose Salazar.
Mark Powers.
I like runs in there. Mike Wagner backhand, Johan forehand.
Best drive, Johan Durant.
Best blitz?
Philippe Rams.
Philippe.
Alvi.
Johan Durant.
Probably Guille or McNerney.
Yeah.
Guillermo Nunez.
Me.
Best volley?
Durant.
Johan. Alvi.
Guillermo Nunez.
Guillermo Nunez.
Guillermo Nunez.
Powers. I think it's one of the best on all of them. Mark Powers' volley is unbelievable. I don't think he gets enough credit for how good of a volley he is.
Best overhead?
Guille. I mean, we got to go with Guy Nunez on that one. Powers. Juan Araya.
Tyler Frazier.
Johan Durant. Durant.
And best competitor?
Adam Morgan.
Adam Morgan.
Me.
Mark Powers.
I think I'm going to give that one to Guy Nunez too.
Alvi.
I'm gonna put myself on that one.
Historically, Glen Oak is a golf-only club, but they wanted to add an extra amenity, and Glen Ellen has a huge community for paddle. We were lucky to pull 200 players from the Glen Ellen community.
Many members had played at the Glen Ellen Park District.
We were able to get a bunch of teams going, kind of right off the bat.
The facility has been an amazing addition to Glen Oak. It's really brought a lot of new ladies to the sport.
And it's not only the courts, but this beautiful paddle hut.
Having a place to hang out, relax, catch a game, as well as come and play paddle with your friends has been a huge attraction. As you come up the ramp to the sports complex, the first thing that you're gonna see is that large outdoor patio.
There's a fireplace out here on the main level.
You can drink and eat with your friends, as well as look out to the 9th hole where you can watch some golfers come through during the right seasons. As you head inside, you'll walk into our large lounge space and dining area.
There's a really long bar with beautiful light fixtures. There's made-to-order food.
We got a great bar staff, great restaurant.
You can get quesadillas and burgers. The ribs are awesome here.
We have a ton of bar seating and lounge seating. We have our hubby area where you can store all of your belongings, 4 TVs, an indoor fireplace.
It's a great place to come on a Friday night just to hang out.
Bring the kids down. It's very family friendly, so we've brought our families in on Sundays and kind of been teaching them the game.
Downstairs you're going to see a fully stocked bar, as well as 3 golf simulators, and our second outdoor patio where you can hang out by our fire pit and enjoy the evening after you played. The membership loves the full year-round rackets operation.
There's a lot of different opportunities for all levels. We have children's programs,
couples paddle,
mixers.
Our other friends over at the Park District, we've invited them. We actually tend to call it the vortex sometimes. We'll come down here and we're all getting together and having so much fun, nobody ever wants to leave. So it's really been great.
We are at Glen Oak Country Club, and this is the APTA Hut of the Month.
Hi, my name is Damian Johnston, and I'm the president of the APTA Board of Directors. New this year, I'm really humbled and excited to be part of this organization and awed by the responsibility to help grow this game that we all love so much. There's a couple of things that I'm really excited about going on at the APTA. First of all, I'm really excited about our deployment of our new PTI algorithm. It corrects some of the things that people didn't like about the old one and improves the accuracy for everyone. And what I really like about this system is, although it stresses a lot of people out, it's really great for us creating great events like PTI National Championships And really one of the highlights of the season for me are PTI Team Nationals, which is a lot of fun for everyone. Another thing that I'm really excited about that enhances our tournament events is Court Director. It's a real-time, live updating scoring system used by our umpires and integrated in for everyone to look at on their mobile apps live while a match is occurring. No more having to ask everyone around you, what's the score? You can look it up yourself on the phone. Another thing I'm really excited about is the expansion of the APTA Tour. This year, it looks like we're going to have live stream matches and tour events across the country every weekend of the season. And that's really exciting to see all the enthusiasm in bringing this great game to communities across the country. To stay up to date with all things paddle, check us out at platformtennis.org.
Johan Durant from SA Rackets. Just so you know, they forced me to do this tip for APTA. It's not going to be as good as the SA Rackets one, so follow them. But here comes the tip. It's very simple. On the volley, if you can, and you're close to the net, really work on closing your racket face, because that way you can keep the ball down. If you keep your face open, they hit it hard, it's very difficult to get the ball in. Maybe a little bit more. Hey, hit it low here, donkey. Simple tip, but a good one. If you change from being on the net to off the net, obviously you want your face to be open. Fantastic. Thank you very much for listening.